And I got, yep.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's show. With me as always here, I got Corey. Thanks for joining me, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we worked hard to try and organize a different guest, a special guest this week. Never been on the show. We wanted him to show off the Caucasaurus, but apparently he just ghosted Neil instead. Neil was trying hard to arrange this, and I asked for a checkup this morning there, update, and he said he hasn't answered me. So it's too
Uh,
bad. We've been working hard since Sunday night. I think it was even before that. Neil was asking me when we're recording so that we can arrange it. And Braden, I get it. I wouldn't want to show my face either if I lost the clef bomb, but
oh,
it would have been interesting just to a little pulse check to see how he's treating the Caucasaurus here.
yeah. Maybe he took a bye week. Maybe he'll be here next week. You never know.
He'll let
Braden bye
Braden
week
by
lives
week.
on.
He doesn't even know that we still run this show. He doesn't know what's going on. Doesn't even know about the bye week. Like this guy's out of it.
Need to get him on the show. Show him what's up.
I'd like to get him on the show. We have a couple that haven't been on the show though that I would still like to. We have Big Dog's never been on the show. Be
Yeah,
interesting to hear his point of view
show
on
off.
all his trades. Patch has never been on the show. I don't know why. I don't think he has
Yeah,
a life.
what's up with
Come on,
that,
Patches.
Patches?
I think Derek either. Derek Casey's understandable. He just joined the league. Derek's
Yeah, we'll give it
one of the
one season.
OGs.
Mark's half shown
Yeah,
his ugly face.
I get it. By law, he has to cover that ugly mug up.
It's illegal. It scares the children. Can't have that shit on YouTube.
That's it. Someone think of the children. We got a lot to go over tonight. There were a lot of trades. I think we're going to see that a lot over the next couple of weeks until the deadline.
Something picked up this week though. It was a aggressive week.
It was,
Yeah.
uh, but we're going into interesting time of the season here. So there's a double week coming up next week
Yeah,
because of
because
the
the
All Star
deadline
break.
or
So
the break.
it's weird because usually it matches up with our first opponent, right? But
Yeah,
this
you
year
have the
was
same opponent for the two weird weeks normally, right?
usually
Yeah.
they separated by a week for us. That's nice.
So what next week's our we start over? Yeah.
No, this week we start over.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, so the next week, yeah, week two.
Yeah, me and you.
Is it me and you next week?
Yeah,
Oh, battle of the big guns.
I do my scouting. I know my schedule.
Uh, it is what it is. I can't control it.
Yeah. I just look at it, right? It's like to know who I'm playing. I got to plan a little bit. Let's start talking about last week's matchups here. Big matchup here. The first to start off, Team Ramrod continuing his dominance. 12 1 and 2 in first place. Uh, I say dominance because I was talking to Nick today. We are looking at the standings, and it's not impossible that if I win this week, I can clinch a playoff spot. Like,
It's not impossible.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's unlikely, but we're only got 5 weeks left after this week, and right now I'm up by 10 points on eighth. So
Yeah.
like it's possible
Big
that
upper.
I don't have to worry about whatever happens because this year is so tight. Like anyone
You
who
said
makes it, it doesn't matter who your matchup is, right?
it's going to be interesting. We should look. We got to look at the standings this week,
You just
especially now that we don't have two divisions and we can look at it as a whole. It's going to be
yeah.
a lot easier to look at too.
I think now is the good time to start that because we're at the
Yeah.
second round through it.
True. We've
Um,
seen everybody once, right? This is where you sit playing every single team once, and everybody's in the same spot.
yeah, yeah. Everyone's played everyone. So, well, Ramrod with a 10-4 victory over Chick and Chong here, 4-10 and 1. Oh, I'm covering his standing here. What is he? 14th.
14th, yep.
14th. Yeah. So why don't you tell me about this matchup, Corey?
Yeah, it was a close week in the player stats for you guys. But your goalies really came out strong. Who got you the shutout? Kemper the shutout. Uh, Veg, not even a start for you either, or not that one. I saw you sat him on Sunday though.
Yeah,
Um,
it wasn't
but
worth risking.
Yeah. No, I understood. I understand. Yeah. Oh yeah,
His
good for you.
other
Keep it going.
his other start that week was on a night where all my goalies were playing.
Mm,
So ironically, against Kemper, who got his shutout.
yeah, you made the right call.
Yeah, well, that's an easy call.
Yeah. Oh
If
yeah,
I
definitely.
have to choose between RBI goalies and benching the Coyotes goalie.
Yep.
But good news for us veg owners across the world here. It sounds like he's on the trade block. That they're open to moving him to a playoff team if one needs him
Really?
or better. Yeah, if they're getting a good return, they're going to move him. So
Yeah.
it's
If they
a
like
little
their
extra
system, I
value
don't know
there.
their depth.
They don't have any depth. Like
It's a little
this
dry in the
guy,
desert.
he's like 26, 27-year old because he played in overseas. They signed him
Mm.
last year.
So he's not a
Um,
young gun.
not young to be their goalie of the future, right? But they did
Yeah.
sign him to a 2-year contract, so he has some term for maybe a team. I think all the playoff teams themselves are fine for goaltending, but the teams that are trying to get in, there's a couple that could use a little bit of help in nets, and he puts up good numbers in Arizona. I think of what he could do on a
Yeah.
good team.
Chicago could look at him.
Oh yeah, that'll help them. No, but I thought it was a fun week against Dan. I always like beating him. I appreciate him coming out. But yeah,
Ooh,
Ramrod
just Sean.
continues the hot streak here. Hasn't lost since he played Sean. Coming up though, match 2 is coming up, Sean. Three
Next
weeks.
3 weeks.
Fox and the Huso. 8-6-1 now in 7th place. Big loss to Pacioretty to Rumble here. 7-8-0 in 11th place. Pacioretty making up some ground in the playoff chase here. 9-2 victory. What happened?
Yeah, Nick barely beat him in a lot of categories. It was pretty darn close actually. Travis with some bad luck, and Patches with a win. Who knew? We all predicted the wrong way. I'll tell you that much.
I think he forgot what it was like to win.
Yeah, because he was what 1-7 in the last 8, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah, big win to try to stay relevant, right? He's dipping down pretty quick. So
You're going to see when we talk about trades there. You made some big moves this week trying to make it in, right? So
yeah.
this is a guy who has a long history of just losing. It's good for him to look like he wants to play with the big boys. Good for him. Team Rocket surprisingly lost 113-1 here in 16th place. Forgot about Dre here, 10-4-1 in 3rd place. What happened here?
He didn't have a bad week. Like he could have beat some other teams, but yeah, Nick came out to play clearly. No surprise here. He keeps the 3 points low, right? I think that's what we're expecting it to happen or hoping it happens to get the record, tie the record.
Yeah. He's going to tie the record if he gets 19 losses, I believe, which
Six
I don't
weeks
know if he
left.
can do. Can he do it?
Is there enough weeks left?
Yeah, he
19?
can. He can exactly finish with that if he
Yeah,
loses every
he
week.
could. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, six
Kyle
weeks left.
today, I was talking to him, um, and he's resigned to the fact that he's taken home that Caucasaurus. He's like already
Yeah.
clearing space on the mantle. I was over at his place for a little Christmas party there when I was scouting out the area, and we mentioned the Caucasaurus being on the mantle, and his wife's like, "You're taking that home," like because obviously she saw it when he
Oh
ordered it, so
yeah.
she knows exactly what she's gonna have on her mantle. I love
Yeah.
it.
Oh, that's funny.
The big story here, though, again, forgot about Dre taking down Team Rocket. Will they ever win again? I don't know. I think he's done. Sauce Pass, 10-3-2 in 2nd place, defeating. Y'all try the beef, 3-11-1 in 15th place. 7-6. That seems like a close matchup. What happened here?
Yeah, you said it. He could play spoiler, and he almost did to me. Sunday, like 7-6, it was close. I wasn't scared though. All the categories I was leading in, I was pretty comfortable in. So unless and he needed a shorthanded point or a game-winning goal. That's really what it came down to, and he did not. So thankfully, come out with the win, squeeze that one out.
His team's healthy now, and his big boys are playing well. I think he's going to surprise some teams down the stretch. You know, not every team, but he's gonna take some wins where he probably shouldn't.
Yeah, like McKinnon, 2 goals, 6 assists, 25 shots alone for the week. Like it's a heavy week, man.
Yeah, Wilson being back adds some grit to him. Saros has been playing well.
Yeah, Wilson, 16 hits, 2 goals, 1 assist, coming out pretty good. He's hurt again though. It looks like
Yeah, it's probably minor.
won't finish contest.
For his sake, I hope it's minor.
Hmm.
Well, this is the one we were talking about earlier. Braden not wanting to show his face. Jagerbomb's dropping the 8-6-1 in
Ooh.
sixth place. Still in the playoff spot. After losing 9-6 here to Clefbaum, who's now 7-7-1 in 10th place. What happened here?
Yeah, good thing Kyle's player showed up, going 9-1 in the player stats, 0-5 in the goalie stats. Um, they carried him heavy here, but yeah, he has some. His forwards actually are looking pretty good. Markstrom can figure out what the hell he's doing. That'll be helpful. And yeah,
Well, he's
but
got both
a
Flames
big win.
goalies, right? So
Yeah, Vladder's been good though.
exactly.
But
So if Markstrom can't figure it out,
Murray,
well, he's got the guy who's going to play.
yeah, but Murray had a rough week. Four shots, 2 goals, or yeah, 4 goals on 8 shots.
That's not
So
great. Yeah,
yeah, that's a rough week. But Kyle with the big win, 7-7-1. He's 10th place, staying relevant. Uh, right in by a week.
it's back. Chris Crichton, Crease Crashers here, staying relevant here with a 6-5 win over Wonton Soup. I don't know how relevant that makes you, but 7-6-2 now in ninth place. Sean holding into the hunt. Wonton Soup now 4-10-1 in 13th place. What happened here?
Yeah, Sean squeezing a win out. Holy, it's a mediocre week, Sean. You're lucky to get the win, but so was I. So I can't say a whole lot. Yeah, no, big win. Keep him like right in the hunt too, right? Like those teams just below the mark.
That's what I
Had a pretty
want.
solid week. Yeah, but it's making it fun. It's making it fun to
Yeah.
see when I'm not in the mix of it right now.
I'm so excited for the stretch. I finish the season against 3 bubble teams, and I want to crush some dreams, particularly Sean and Mark.
You play Sean and Mark?
Yeah, I finished the season against Mark.
Oh, that'll be
I
fun to
think
see.
I think if I remember right, I think it's Pacioretty in between there. It's a borderline playoff team here. So,
That's an
uh,
interesting three though to end.
but before that,
Yeah.
I gotta go through you and Nick. So
Oh, yeah. I'm in my stretch right now where I got you, Nick, and Neil all pretty close together. I think in four
all the
weeks
top
span.
teams are playing each other, right? So that's kind of good for the teams chasing us.
Yeah, it's true though.
No one's gonna
Uh,
make ground, right? Rasmus Dahlin fan club 9-6-0 in fourth place after a big 7-6 victory over 7 on the ice. 6-8-1 now, 12th place. Mark sliding a bit here. What happened?
Mark had a good week. That's a tough loss, I'd say. Clearly, Derek did too, right? His Boston goalies are really carrying him there. Mark had a really good goalie week. He would have crushed me. Uh, he did well in every stat, just not enough. That's a tough loss too, right? That's a big loss for him in the standings.
Yeah. All these middle standing matches, right? That's like 4 point swing essentially. You're losing out on 2 points and someone's gaining 2 on you. Like
Yeah,
those are big losses. I must say, like Derek's been carried by those Boston goalies. Before the season, I didn't think Boston was gonna make the playoffs. They looked like
Man, I know.
they looked like they were in rough shape. Marchand and McAvoy were out for months. Uh Bergeron on the verge of retirement. You bring back Krejci, how good's he gonna be?
I
Like,
know. And they're
and
just in. I think I saw their fastest to 80 points ever.
yeah, Yeah, like
Like that's
they're on
insane.
fire. Like,
Yeah,
good for them. Like, to their credit, they're a team proving people wrong. Like people thought they were on the down. I imagine it'll be over the next couple of years when all of them actually retire, but their window is
yeah.
closing. But right now it's wide open and
And
it's hard to go against them.
and his other goalie is Vanacek, who's doing really well in New Jersey too.
That's a
He's
surprise as
taken
well.
he was the healthy one to start the season. That always helps, and then he played well. So it's hard to sit you right.
Yeah.
So and being able to give Blackwood a light load to ease him in after being hurt so much too, that's good. But yeah,
I think
his
they could
goalies are
use a
scary
real
right now.
goalie. They could use a
Yeah,
real goalie jersey, but
if
Vanacek's doing the
he's doing
job.
enough. He's doing the job exactly right.
He's doing the
So
job, but I don't think Vanacek's going to be your goalie to lead you there. Like they need to do like probably an upgrade there, but he's doing the job, and that's all you need right now. Like, he's giving them a chance to win, and they are.
he's running a 916 on the season.
Yeah,
230 goals against and on a high scoring season. Yeah, like, but I mean, their defense is strong too. But
yeah. They play a good game. Like they're fun to watch.
yeah, and they're young, they're quick.
Um, Captain Crunch, 8-7-0, jumping into 8th place after defeating Suck My Ojik 8-6-1 in 5th place. What's interesting here is 8th to 5th. There's only 1 point separating them.
Yeah,
So we're gonna look at the standings in a second here, but why don't you tell me about this matchup?
yeah. Neil's goalies letting him down. That was the difference maker there. He lost 2 points. Player stats pretty similar. Um, yeah, that was the difference maker. And yeah, that's a tough loss for Neil. It really puts him just in the middle of that pack of people trying to keep their spot. I was kind of surprised how far back he was. I was looking at the standings. I'm like, well, that'd be a tough loss losing to Neil because he's biting at us, but he's further back than I thought he was.
You hear that, Neil? You're below us.
Yeah, he knew that.
He knows. He knows. Yeah. So let's talk about the predictions there. You have an update?
Oh yeah. Whew. All right. So, interesting week. Yeah, we were kind of commenting on it last week when we were doing the predictions. So we voted the exact same. Um, and so did Travis, and so did Kyle, except for one pick. He went with himself, which is a big surprise over Jagger bombs, and that ended up being the difference maker. He went 6-2. We all got Travis losing. Ron Nick getting the win over Travis, and we all went with Neil over Domo, and got that wrong. So Kyle went 6-2. The rest of us went 5-3, getting Jagger bombs wrong as well. So now you and him are tied at 77 wins. Travis at 76 and me at 75. So it's getting
Really
interesting.
close.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it was gonna be that close a couple weeks ago, and now everyone's right in there.
Oh no.
That's what I like. Just like our standings, which we're going to talk about right now. Everything's jam packed here. So top of the pack here, you got Team Ramrod, 12-1-2 with 26 points. A nice 4 point lead up on you.
Yep.
But we were talking the other day. When was the last time you were in a playoff spot? Right? Like feels
It's
like
been a
it's
few
been a
seasons.
while.
Yeah. I've kind of been rebuilding a bit.
Yeah, and it's paying off this year, right? So through one round of everyone, you've seen everyone, and you only have 3 losses, so that's good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Happy
20,
to.
22 points, right? 1 point up on Forgot About Dre. So Nick right in there. A big win this week and a loss with you. You can jump into back into second. You guys have been kind of jumping over each other a little bit lately. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's been back and forth.
taking advantage of someone who slips, right? But Nick has a 3 point lead up on 4. So this is where things get really tight. So yeah,
Oh,
3 point lead. I think we're pretty locked in at the top 3 for a bit. But Darlene fan club here, Derek taking 4th by a point. And then you have 1, 2, 3 teams 1 point behind him. Suck by Ojik, Jager Bombs, Huso. So you have Travis, Braden, and Neil all tied at 17 points. Neil with the highest seed. Jagerbom's right behind him. With Travis, the last place out of the bunch. A point behind them is Captain Crunch, who holds the 8th spot because he has the tiebreaker. He has more wins than Sean. So yes, they have the same amount of points, but Domo has more wins, so he gets the spot. But think about that: 2 points from ninth to fourth, and we're not even done. 10th place, we have Clefbaum with 15 points, Pacioretty with 14 in 11th, and even Mark with 13, right? In 12th. That's only 5 points out of fourth place, and you're sitting on the outside of the playoffs.
That'd have been so interesting to see if Mark beat Derek, because then they'd both be in that mix of 17 to 14. That's a tight race. Like,
That's a crazy race here. Like, I love
yeah,
it.
yeah. And you see that second tier at the bottom now kind of separating off, right, with Dan and Casey both getting some losses.
We call that the
9 points.
Bedard team.
The
The
Bedard,
old
the
Bedard
Bedard,
hunt.
Bedard Hunters.
Yeah. The only one that's not surprised, that's really like locked in is, like you said, Kyle is not making it even a challenge to not get that trophy. Daltrey's giving him every opportunity, and he just won't catch him.
Yep. Can't catch them all. Team Rocket.
That Team Rocket blasting off again. We got a lot of trades to go over. It was a busy week, like we said earlier.
Yeah.
We're just gonna jump into it. Popular guy here. We were just talking about this, and it's funny because he got moved right after. Brock Nelson on the move again. Poor guy just got unpacked. Uh, Chich and Chong picking up Nelson in an 8th. Send it to Nick's getting Ehlers and a 17. What do you think of this?
Yeah, when I saw it, I said to Dan, I said, I think he did pretty good. Eli's just coming back from injury. Pretty small sample size. I think only a few games, like 3 or 4 games he's played already. That's a pretty big pick gap as well. As we know, Dan's pick situation is a little interesting. So to get you didn't really have a choice but to go with a big gap. I think an 8th is a good return on him. But I don't think it's bad for Nick. He's been stocking up on picks. It makes sense to go for wingers like that. Guy who can put the puck in the net as long as he's healthy. He's effective.
I agree. I like the pickup for Nick. I don't. I'm going to say something. Like, I don't like Dan's pick situation. I just don't. Right? Like, what are you doing with all those picks? You have a weak keeper base. You should be buying some players by making
Oh,
aggressive offers with some of those sevens.
I wouldn't say he is a weak keeper base. His up front, he's pretty stacked. Kaprizov, Makar, and Svech, pretty solid. But
Yeah,
the back end, Knight needs the opportunity to start. And
he's been injured too much like this
yeah,
year. This
yeah, when he had a chance and when he had the
he
opportunity,
wasn't
right,
playing
out.
well.
So yeah, but yeah, it's gonna be hard to let go of anybody. Like, do you sell for a couple draft picks early and just kind of have a little
That's
bit
why you
more
got to be
ammo there?
aggressive. You have all
Yeah,
those sevens, like overpay and be like, "Hey, I'm offering something you can't say no to." Right?
yeah.
You're not going to get
Goalies,
like
it's a thing.
you're not going to fix that goalie situation in the draft of all these 7th rounders.
I think you'll see something closer to the deadline.
I hope so for his sake, right? I don't.
Yeah, it depends how
I'd be
much
more
people
aggressive.
separate because it's so close, right? Like, how many more weeks do we have to the deadline? Like two,
Deadline is
full
February
weeks.
22nd, so
Okay,
like
so we have like
3 matchups still ish.
yeah, 3 matchups. Yeah,
I
so
uh, I was saying at work today, like I hope everyone stays in the mix because then there's no sellers, and I'm fine with the roster I have. I don't have
yeah,
to worry about my opponents getting stronger.
yeah.
Just let's go.
And I'm at a spot now. Like I've made a few trades here, but where I'm happy with where I'm at. So
Anyway, an 8th, it's good pick. Ehlers, good player. Nelson's starting to heat up again this week. He went cold for a bit, but I know he had a goal tonight, a goal the other night. Like he's been starting to play better again. So
Find his groove on a team that's doing well, surprisingly well as well.
I don't know. They've always been a good team. Just
They kind of fell off a little bit the last couple seasons, and they're
well,
coming out
last
strong.
year, before that, they were like Eastern Conference Finals for like 3 years in a row.
I know. They just seemed like they were
Last
falling
year was
quick.
rough. They start the
Yeah,
season on a 16-game road trip. Like,
yeah, that doesn't help. You're right.
yeah, Varlamov's injured. You're relying on Sorokin. He was off to a slow start last year. He picked it up, but he got off to a slow start, right? Like the whole team just got off to a bad start.
No, I was talking about Ehlers though.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like the Islanders in
Nelson.
general.
Yeah, no Winnipeg.
Oh, Winnipeg. Oh, Winnipeg fell off for a couple of years
Yeah, yeah.
for
Then they're
sure.
having a good year though. So him
Yeah.
coming back is big. So if he can just fit into the mix well, that's good on
What's
Nick.
what's key to their success though is Hellebuck, right? So Hellebuck had a bad year last year,
Yeah,
and it hurt
I
them.
thought he was out. I thought he was just that was it. He was gonna fade away now. That's the
No,
next system. He's coming back strong.
I didn't think he'd come back this strong, but I figured he'd come
Yeah,
back, right? Like,
yeah,
um, the trade that you were involved in, Claude Giroux, straight up for Marcus Foligno with Fox and the Huso here. Why don't you tell me about this?
yeah. He was looking to move a little bit of grit. And I said I got Giroux available. So we kind of just no picks involved. We both kind of got what we wanted out of it. I got a little bit more grit. He got a little bit more scoring touch out of Giroux. So yeah, I'm happy with it.
I forget the player, but he was asking me about one of my players when you were talking to him. The same thing. He's like, "What's the trade look like?" And I said, "1 round upgrade." And then like a minute later, that trade comes through my phone. Oh man, he didn't like that. But it was cheap. It was a one round upgrade, is what I was looking for. So, but
Yeah,
we got someone straight up.
I'm surprised how well you've managed your picks this year. You've really only traded a couple of the bottom ones, like a seventh, I think, and like a 10th or something. Like you've been pretty
I moved
efficient.
in eighth, but I regained it throughout the season. Like,
Did you? Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
traded eighth early on for Quick, and then I moved Bunting for an eighth.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
But I've been conserving my picks because I want to see what my team will look like if I actually have a real draft.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun.
I don't know about that. I like the wheel and deal, but Pat, you're ready to rumble here. Get involved with Team Ramrod. Uh, he was after Ben Sherratt for weeks. So he received Riley Smith, Ben Sherratt, a 15th and a 16th. I got Eberle, McDonough, a 14th and an 11th. He was after him for a while, and I was happy keeping the grind because he provides good grind, right?
Yep.
Then all of a sudden, I get an offer one morning. I wake up Friday morning and it says, "I'll give you an eighth or an 11th for Sherrod." Before that, he's flirting around 15th, 16th. Well, for that, it's not going to get me to get rid of a guy who
Yeah.
is
Who cares?
valuable to me. And I saw
Yep.
an 11th in there. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm a little interested now. He piqued my
Yeah.
interest. You know, I looked quick at the waiver wire. Like, okay, there's a guy I could pick up for free that'll give me just a little bit less grind. Being Pedersen from Pittsburgh, defenseman. I'm like, yeah, okay, let's see if we can make this work. And I wanted to give him my 17th back. He didn't want it. I said, no, can't do that. Oh, all right. Well, like, do you like Riley Smith? And he's like, I mean, yeah. I can get rid of these two guys. Those are the two guys you want to get rid of. Like,
Yep.
okay. Well, 11th for my 16th, 14th for the 15th. One pick upgrade for Riley Smith, which is what I was offering
To
Travis.
what Travis? Yeah. That was
That's
who
the one pick. I just
I.
want that one pick upgrade on
Yeah.
that guy, right? And he really thought about it, and he didn't really want to do it. But I'm like, look at it this way: if it makes you feel better, an 11th for the 15th and the 14th for the 16th.
Yeah.
So that made him feel a little bit better, and he accepted. But I was happy getting an 11th for Sherratt, and then picking up a guy who's just a little less productive for free. Like,
Yeah. I was looking, I was like, is McDonough even doing anything? And
no,
you don't even have him already. So,
I dropped him to. He was like my drop to pick up Pedersen.
oh, yeah, I don't think it's a bad trade for you. I don't think it's a bad trade for Nick though. Like getting
No,
two players, he wants to kind of be a little bit more competitive, and he
he
didn't pay a
finally
whole
went
lot.
shopping
So, yeah, he's going shopping.
because he's involved in the next trade too, right? His shopping continues.
Here we
This
go.
is a big one. This is a
This
big
is a big
trade.
one. This is a big one.
So he calls up Team Rocket. You know, Team Rocket, you dangle your six in front of him and he'll do whatever you want. Uh, gets Brad Marchand, Troy Terry, and an eighth for Kirby Doc, Landeskog, and a six. What do you think of this?
I like it for both of them. I really do. I think that's a he gets a little bit younger and a keeper, right? With Marchand kind of aging out, like that's not a bad investment at all. And to get a six on top of that, um, yeah, like I think it's good. And then Marchand and Terry's having an okay year, but two more
He's having a
players
good
to
year,
kind of
yeah.
two more players though to keep Patch Ready kind of relevant, right? To try to make him more competitive. And Marchand's having a great year. We know that in Boston, so
Two
yeah,
players
I like it.
that are playing.
Yeah, exactly. Too right.
So I do like that move for him. I don't know if I would have got rid of my six because he's potentially a lottery team,
Hmm.
right? Like
Yeah,
I would have probably tried to overpay in other ways to get the players I wanted, but like if he wins the draft lottery with your pick, you're gonna be pissed that you don't have Bedard.
yeah. I mean, if he
So,
makes the playoffs though and wins it, then who gives a shit?
yeah, but he's got to make the playoffs, and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
that's
And
the
it's
hard part.
competitive right now.
But I do like that Kyle got Landeskog back. So yeah, he gets a valuable sixth, and he gets Landeskog, who improves his keeper base. Well, I
I
mean,
agree.
maybe not improve, but him and
It
Marchand are
makes
kind of
it long
interchangeable.
term. Long term, it's better.
Well, Marchand's only 34. Like Landeskog's
Yeah,
like 29, 30, something like that. So it's a few year difference, but
that's a lot.
they're kind
34
of
is pretty old for a gritty little shit.
he's not gritty anymore. He gets
No, he doesn't
penalties, but
hit as much.
he hasn't hit a
Yeah.
lot.
Oh, okay.
But he
I
does
know the
get
penalties are
penalties
there.
still. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doc is a throw-in player.
Yeah, I figured so.
Just to offset the value. But even the picks are only two rounds apart.
True.
So
Besides the Bedard piece of that sixth, it's not. It's a great trade, I think, on both sides.
I just with a generational talent like that, who's going to be available, if I'm not in the playoffs, I'm holding on to that. Like, good on Kyle. That's 5 6 rounders he has. With
How many
only
other?
I think four of them are possible lottery picks.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So he's done a good job selling what little value he has to get value. I think the dumbest one on the player's part, not Kyle, was when he traded a six for two sevens for a guy who's not in a playoff spot. Like, come on, you got to be better than that.
Yeah, he has captains, Pacioretty's, and then Neil and Nick. So
Yeah,
those are going to be a little bit of a stretch, but
Nick's pretty much in.
I'd say between captain and Pacioretty, one of them won't make the playoffs. That's my prediction. So
Agreed.
I'd say two hopefully, or in his sake, three. I don't care who makes playoffs, but
All right, we're gonna take a little break here. We'll be back.